Hi friends, today we are going to be taking a look at my Oracle collection. Similar to what I've shared on previous videos, I had taken quite a bit of a break from tarot, and this included my Oracle deck collection. And so I wanted to take some time to revisit it, pull it out, and go through, because I have managed to pare this collection down quite a bit. So the first deck that I'm going to start with, and I don't even know, well, yeah, I mean, it's a deck, The Good Word. And these are, I love these cards. These contain scriptures. Now, this may not be for everyone, but I got this deck on Amazon and I just love it. It shuffles so well. It is my only square deck. I like that I don't have to worry about it changing or rearranging sides. Since I'm an upright reader, I always have to pay attention to that with my tarot cards. And look, we have a jumper. But I love this deck, and we'll take a look at the one that came out. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. And what I like to do with these cards is I keep them on my bedside table. And what I do is every time that I change my sheets, I shuffle the deck and I pull a card and I put it on my nightstand. And it's just a little pick-me-up. They're all like positive scriptures or psalms, and I really enjoy having this deck in the collection. I love how simple it is, but it's just a quick pick-me-up. And like I said, I like to pull a card every time I change my sheets. I don't even know how I started that actually, but I did it once, I liked it, and I've been doing it ever since. I got this deck on Amazon, and it's been great. So this is The Good Word. Next deck is, this is actually, I go back and forth with this. It's a tarot deck, but also an oracle deck. It goes a very completely different way. It has its own system. So it does come with this fold out, but I did get the book so that I can learn the deck. I ended up culling the other deck that I got. I got these on a Kickstarter, and I ended up culling. This cardstock is so amazing. I'm not sure why I'm shuffling, but it's just so nice to shuffle with. I really like it. And then of course, like the edges, they're so amazing. But this deck, it just has this beautiful artwork, gorgeous colors. It's nice and compact. I love the size. And the courts were renamed, and so have the four suits. But it's pretty, obvious still, right? Like here, 10 of embers. Okay, well, that's 10 of wands. And from the image, you get the idea. So I wanted to hold on to this deck because I think it's great as an oracle, as a clarifier. Like, look at this one. This is meant to be the wheel, but it is called Life Map. It's just really pretty. Ooh, I love this card. 10 of lotuses. Let me see if I can bring that in a little bit better. It's just so pretty. I love that this suit, the suit of cups, is called lotuses in this deck. It's just awesome. So this is a deck that, even though I haven't worked with it very much, I'm gonna hold on to this one. I'm gonna hold on to this one. Next deck that I have is a deck that I got on the Etsy site. This is Winter Wonderland. And look at those bags, they're so cute. So I got this deck because I stay in, oh, is it upside down? Okay, hold on. I stay in Florida, so I don't really get like change of seasons here, and I do sometimes miss this, you know, feeling. I love that card, Intelligence. You know, the snow and, you know, the holiday season. This one really brings me back to that time where I did live in an area where I could experience all of these. This card is awesome. Transmutation, and you can see all the different seasons in this deck, or sorry, on this card. But I love this deck for that reason. It's very nostalgic for me, and I like to use this when we should be in wintertime, but it's actually 85 degrees here, so it doesn't feel like it. But I could look at this card and imagine what it would be like to sit on that park bench. So beautiful. Anyways, this is my Winter Wonderland deck, and this is a V Love and Crystals deck. I actually have a few of her decks. I've talked about this one before. This is my Work Your Light. I damaged this deck when I was doing I can't remember if it was a full moon ritual or a new moon ritual, and you can see you may be able to see that there's a crease there. The card back came off. I had to scan the card back and print it onto the card just to keep the deck, because it would bother me to shuffle. Every time I go to pull a card, I know that that's the different card. There's 3 of them in the deck that are like that. And so I did that, you know, for myself. It's actually even see-through. I can see right through the card. Anyways, that happened to me with this deck, but you know, I didn't want to get rid of it just because of that, so I held on to it. It is a beautiful deck, and I love a lot of the cards in here, so I keep it in the collection. So that is Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light. The next deck is my Alice Wonderland Oracle. And I got this deck off a recommendation from one of the channels that I follow on YouTube. And even though this like art style with the, you know, the eyes is not really my thing, I decided to pick up the deck. I don't really have anything like this in my collection, and I love how you can work with this deck. So it gives you the statement here, right? For example, this one, nature communication, and then underneath it explains a little bit more: flower energies, fairy energies, elemental messengers. And then of course you can refer back to the guidebook, but the guidebook is just so good. And I do a lot of really good journaling with this deck. Okay, that's odd that this particular card is upside. I don't even know why. Look at that. Choices, feeling blocked, restrained. All right, so as an example, let's stop there since that card was in there the wrong way. So that's card number 6, feeling blocked and restrained. So if you go into the book, you know, it shows you the image, it talks, it gives you a little statement. So for example here, there were doors all around the hall, but they were all locked. And when Alice had been all the way down one side and up the other, trying every door, she walked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever to get out again. So it gives you a little snippet from the story. It talks about the card, and then it gives you the divination message of the card, but also the reversed meaning. So I really like that. I think it works really well, and this is a great deck for, you know, for self-reflection. So that is my Alice Wonderland Oracle. This deck is Oracle of the Mermaids, Lucy Cavendish. Another deck, I got this originally because I was thinking I could use it with the Mermaid Tarot. But it's a beautiful deck. And, you know, it requires a little bit of breaking in to help the shuffle. But once you get it done, it works really well. And then same, right? So it'll tell you Song of the Siren, and then it'll break it down. The call, summoning, voice to acknowledge. So it gives you what you need in order to draw out the message. But if you wanted to, you could go to the book. And I feel like with this deck, again, this is another one that's where the magic is, being able to draw on the book. So this is, you know, great for use in the moment. But if you have time and you're able to work with the book, that's really helpful. So here's Sanctuary. It gives you the keywords, right? Privacy, inviolate personal space, respected boundaries, and taboos. When you go, you have to kind of look it up in here. So that was Sanctuary. So let's see. Okay, right here, Sanctuary 107. Hold on. There it is right there. See how small? 28. Yep, 28 Sanctuary. So that's going to be on 107. This gives you a lot of information, right? It talks about the card. This has 3 pages. Then it talks about the message of the card, and then it gives you the reverse message and also gives you divination message. So again, lots of ways that you can use this deck, even if you wanted to just kind of pull a card and do some journaling. It's great for that. And not to mention, you know, the artwork in this deck is really beautiful, and, you know, who doesn't love a gorgeous mermaid deck? Okay, I've talked about this deck before. This is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Oh, I love this deck. The artwork is by Rassouli. I always wanted to add a Rassouli deck to my collection. And after going through quite a few of his decks, I ended up deciding that this one would be the one. And I just love it. I love the artwork. I feel like the artwork really pulls you in. It gives you this is exactly how I love Oracle decks, right? I like that it gives you the message, right? Be the bridge. Be the bridge. You already know. And then it explains, expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. And even when you look at the card, you can kind of see that in the artwork. It's just so beautiful. I just love it. So this deck is great. I like to pair this with other decks, and every time I have used this deck, I have had wonderful experiences with it and really profound messages. And so that is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. And I didn't even tell you, this is Kelly Sullivan Walden. I'm like, all I care about is Rasuli. No, just kidding. This is my Vessel Oracle. This is one of those oracles that I don't know why I got it. I just got it because it was so cool and interesting and different. It's very simple, you know, gives you the keyword, very limited color palette. I think all you see in here is pink and blue and occasionally like a green. But the artwork is super quirky, and it's just fun to work with. And I have enjoyed this deck as well. This is a fun little add to the collection. And I almost considered getting this creator, Mary, what's her name? Is it Mary Elizabeth? I forgot her name. Mary Elizabeth Evans. She has some other oracle decks, so she also has some tarot decks, and I had considered like getting one of the other decks, but you know, I have an aversion to black and white decks, and so I struggled and I decided not to. And I like to use this deck independently. I mean, I could pair it with other decks, but I like to use this one independently. So this is the Vessel Oracle. This is the Spirit Animal Wisdom. This is the only animal deck that I have in my collection, and I really like this deck. I always struggled connecting with animal energies, and this one has made it really easy for me, right? So it gives me, of course, the image, the name of the animal. You can see the elements here, and then it tells you Kundalini rising, channel your creative passion and sensuality, welcome the transformation. So I love that. And then if you go into the book, it gives you a little bit more information, and the artwork is awesome. I don't know if this is watercolor, but I really like this style of art, and I have a lot of decks that kind of I would put together into this category because I love them. The colors are so great. There's a great mix of animals, air, land, sea, and I really like this deck. Otters, they're so playful, so cute. Anyways, this is the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck, and I love it. And these card backs, they're amazing. Okay, this deck with its cute little bag. This deck came with this bag. And sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. It is quite tight, but it's because I like to keep the booklet in here. And this is the Word of Sarah Howard. This is a Gabby Angus West deck. And it's just, again, this is another one that I just love this shuffle. This cardstock is so great. Oh, so good. I love it. I love it. Okay. Very colorful deck. Everything that you would imagine from a Gabby Angus West. This is actually a playing card, or set up like a playing card deck. So each card has the playing card associations, and then it has a statement that's tied to the message. And a lot of these are really closely tied to tarot too. So this is Six of Hearts. So this would be comparable to Six of Cups, single cord of truth. I like that red, the red string of fate in there. But anyways, this card, just this deck, actually, it goes so many different ways, such great messages. I used this deck when I first got it. I used it as a weekly card pull, and it was great. I love it. It's beautiful, it has great messages, and works well on its own. And there's different ways, right? Different ways to read it. The artwork goes so well with the little sayings, and it's just, this has been great. I love this little deck. So that is, and there's changes on this deck because this was the latest edition, right? The previous edition, I think it had a keyword. And then what she did was she took the keywords. The keywords are still in the book, but instead she added the little saying at the bottom of the card. This is another deck I adore, another V Love and Crystals deck. I got this from her Etsy site. This is my fortune cookie oracle, and this deck is just so fun. And it's set up like every single card has a fortune cookie and a message, and of course the scenes change. And they're great. And sometimes I almost think of this card as like, remember like the 8-ball that you would like, you know, shake it and get your message. Sometimes I think of it like that. And I've joked about this before, but when I first got this deck, like if the kids would ask me a question and I would be like, oh, hold on, I have to, you know, I have to check to see what your fortune is, and they would be annoyed and roll their eyes, and I would like, you know, answer their question with one of these implement new routines. That would be a no, you can't do whatever it is you're asking me to do. So I love this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. This is great for gatherings. This would be super fun at a dinner party. It's just awesome. It's a fun deck. I really enjoyed it, and I love having this in my collection. This deck I recently did a video on. This is Roots and Wings Oracle deck, and this was one of the decks that was in my maybe pile. I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep this or not, and so I pulled it out and I did a reading with it, and guess what? The deck is going to stay. The deck was not ready to leave me, and I had that realization. And so this was one of the cards that I got in that reading. But what I did was I used the little spread that comes with the deck, the garden spread, and I did the reading, and it was great. I mean, this deck, it combines so well with so many other tarot decks, and it works well on its own as its own deck. Like, you know, one time I even used this to do a Celtic cross. Okay, that's how good this deck is. So definitely a deck that has several uses, and it is gonna be staying in my collection. Because why? Because I was inspired. Okay, so here's a deck. I actually remember exactly when I got this deck. This was a Christmas present, maybe 2 Christmases ago. Morgan's Tarot. I don't know why I feel like I wanted this deck. These card backs are so fun. Love is God. I was like, I think that says something. Love is God. Anyways, I wanted this deck and I haven't used it that much, but even if I never have, I will probably like keep it for a long time because I do want to work with this deck and explore it a little bit more. And I just thought it was like very different, very unique. Of course, it's black and white. And oh, there's the, well, here's a 6-ball. I was talking about, but very unique deck. Look at that. Can be so many different things, so vast. Anyways, this is a great deck, very quirky, and a lot of fun, and I wanted to have this in my collection, and I'm glad that I added it, and I just have to work with it a little bit more. It's not actually a tarot deck, but it's called Morgan's Tarot, which I think is ironic in and of itself. Which is just like this deck. I think this deck is quite ironic in its messaging. And you really have to think, think about this when you pull these cards. It's a very specific, it has its own sense of humor. Oh goodness, so that is Morgan's Tarot. All right, so this deck here, this is Soul Seeds. My Soul Seeds Oracle, and I love this deck. I have two decks from this creator, and it's just very whimsical. I like the art and the keywords. It's just fun. And it plays well. I love to use this when I am working with inner child, and I like to combine this with my fun, playful decks, and it works really well. It's got such beautiful imagery, a huge variety of keywords, and it's just awesome. I really like this. I like this. This deck is so great. Look at that. Surprise! So pretty. So this is my Soul Seeds Oracle. This is a favorite. I actually usually don't keep it in the box. I usually keep it in my tarot box on my reading table. But for today, I decided to put it in its box. Now, this deck, I don't remember where I got this deck, and I don't remember the name of this deck. I'm gonna look it up, and I'll look it up and I'll put it up. But I love this deck. This is like a Mother Mary deck. Actually, let me flip it this way. And I like that each card is completely different, right? So here you have like a marble statue. Here you have like, I don't know, folk art. This looks like it came straight from, a Catholic church somewhere. But these are all like super, super gorgeous images of Mother Mary. And then each one has a keyword. No guidebook with this deck. It's just, it is what it is. I love to use this deck when I'm working with Mother Mary energies. It's so beautiful. It's unique. It's very reassuring. And I always, when I pull this deck out, it's because I need motherly guidance. And I pull this deck and I definitely get what I need. So gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Can't even remember what it's called, but I'll find it and I'll add it so that you have it. But it's just so pretty. I love it. Now this deck, this is the Reclaim Oracle. I love this deck, and I've talked about this before. I use this deck in a completely different way than I use any of my other Oracle decks, but this one, look how it's so chunky. It's so good. And this is another one, like this particular version, like I love this cardstock, the shuffle, the ASMR that I get when I shuffle this. deck. It's just so good. I love it. And I remember that she was doing like an expansion pack for this deck, but it was going to be a different card stock. It was going to be similar to the Lilifer card stock, and I decided that I was gonna pass because I felt like I would be able to notice that the expansion pack cards were different. And since then, the deck has gone through different stages and iterations, changes. And I know it's currently on a Kickstarter, but I'm so happy with this deck as it is that I don't know that I feel the need to pick up any other versions of it, even though the new one has more cards. But this has plenty, as you can see. And what I do with this deck is sometimes I'm feeling a certain kind of way, and it's hard for me to put my finger on what it is. And so I'll go through the deck and I'll look at the images, and then I'll think, yeah, that feels similar to what I'm feeling, and I'll put them aside, and I'll go through all the card decks. I just take some time, some quiet, some me time, and I'll pull out a few cards. And then once say it was these cards that I decided to pull, once I'm done, I look at them and I look at the keywords, and then I can journal. And when I do that, then it helps me put words to what I'm feeling. And I find this to be so helpful as a person that grew up with limited I guess education on the human range of emotions. It was either happy or sad, angry. I mean, there's that, but like outside of that, it's really hard for me to pinpoint emotions and actually how to work with them and deal with them. So I find that the guidebook is very helpful in that respect as well. And I love this. And I actually picked this up. This was one of her, I forgot what she called it. Like if it was a oops deck or something, but the box was damaged, and she didn't feel comfortable selling it at the full price. So she reduced the price, and that's how I ended up getting the deck. And I love having this. I can't imagine not. It's been super helpful for me. This is the Reclaim Oracle. Now, this is the original deck that I purchased, the Allison Williams Yee deck, Soul Trees Ascension deck. And I bought this on a complete whim. I didn't see any flip throughs. Nothing. I just saw the few images on the site. This is the first time and probably only time I have ever done this. I just saw a few of the cards on her site. I don't remember if it was Etsy or if she had her own site. But I saw a few of the cards and I ordered the deck. And then when I got it, I was blown away. It was so beautiful. And it came with a sample card for Soul Seeds, and I decided to go ahead and get Soul Seeds as well. But I love this deck and I love this version. This is the Ascension deck. It's so good. The keywords are so great. The imagery is wonderful. The colors are amazing. It goes with so many of my decks. I mean, you can even do like, here's the here's the one from the cover. You can even pull in like chakra associations with this deck. It's just so good, and I love it. I love having this in my collection. So again, this is one I don't even keep in the box. It's just visiting its box temporarily for the purposes of this video. This one lives in my tarot box on my reading table. So that is Soul Trees Ascension. This deck, oh, know, this was one of my first decks, Sacred Destiny. I love this. This was originally, you know, like Oracle deck size. So I trimmed this deck and I just love it. This deck, so good. I used this deck for a really long time as a weekly. Ooh, I have a bend in this card, but it's okay. I still love it. I used it as a weekly card pull and reflections. And it's so great. The artwork is great. The keywords are great. Gives you what you need. But it has the book that you can rely on if you want additional guidance or direction. Or sometimes, you know, like sometimes you pull a card and I don't know, let me know if this happens to you. Sometimes you pull a card and you're just like, what? And you have a difficult time like trying to see the message, feel the message, see how that card relates to you. And maybe you even told yourself, oh, this must be for somebody else. I don't think this message is for me. But you know, that happens sometimes. And so this is why I love guidebooks, because, you know, if that happens, then you can use a little help. And sometimes when you go, you read it and you take time with it, and then you realize what the message was meant to be. So here, you know, this one, fulfillment, it talks about the laden peach tree. So it talks a little bit about the artwork here. And then on the next page, it tells you what it wants you to know. So love this deck, love the book. This is my only Denise Linn deck, but it's a favorite. I love that this was one of the first decks that I trimmed after watching many a tutorial. And it's just a great deck in my collection. So that's the Sacred Destiny. This next deck is the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. And I love this deck so much that I actually got it twice. So what I did was I bought the indie version of this deck. And then later on, they came out with this mass market that included this beautiful book. So then I decided that I was gonna pick that copy up as well. And I ended up rehoming the mass market deck. I kept the indie deck and then I kept the book. But this is one of those, these card backs, they're so gorgeous. I just love them. And again, a deck that really works for me because it gives me the name of the flower, it gives me the keyword, and then it tells me what I need to know right here. So very easy to work with, very beautiful deck. And this is helpful for me, right? Because I do well with decks usually that have people representation. But this deck really helps me learn a little bit more about plant energy. And then when I learn, I can tie that in to what I see in my tarot decks. So this is a great learning deck for me as well. The reason why I always like to keep a flower deck, actually I had quite a few flower decks. This was the only one that I ended up keeping. Same with animal decks. I had a bunch of animal decks. I only kept the one, but I used them to help me learn those energies so that later on, if I'm working with a different deck and you know, I see one of the flowers being used in the deck, then I have a source of information, right, that I can pull from. You know, lavender, that's a flower that you see a lot in a lot of different decks. So I love having this, and the book is really cool. you know, not in color, but it still gives you the picture of the card. It talks a little bit about it, and then when you flip inside, it gives you quite a bit of information from the lessons and an affirmation. And I love affirmations. I don't know how many of you do affirmation work, but I love them. I find them very, very helpful. I love to play those. I don't know if you guys ever do this. Like, I play those videos at night before bed that just, you know, tell you a bunch of things, and then you fall asleep listening to those sweet little nothings that turn into something, right? Just love them. So that's the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. This deck, this was a gift that I received, and I just love this deck. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Bob Ross. I grew up watching him, and this is a playing card deck, and you know, each one has a painting, right, that he worked on, as well as a saying that he said all the look. I even keep the jokers in this deck because they're so fun. Like, it has the photo that he painted, and then it says something that he usually would have said during his many shows. This is a happy place. Little squirrels live here and play. I don't know if you know Bob Ross, you know that he loved squirrels. He just loved them, and he would feature them on the show all the time. Every day is a good day when you paint. He used to say that all the time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I grew up watching this guy, and I love these little cards. And it's very nostalgic for me. This deck takes me back to a time where I felt like I was alone and in the dark, and listening to him gave me courage and inspiration to exist on a day-to-day. So this is very special for me, and I love having this in my collection. And that is my Bob Ross. I would consider this an affirmation. I would consider this an affirmation deck. I feel affirmed every time I use it, so that's what I'll call it. Let's see. This is my second Mother Mary deck. I have two. And I've thought about, like, do you really need to, you know, but I just can't, I could never decide. First of all, I love these card backs, and I love the size, right? Look at that. They just fit perfectly right into your hand. And here's just a little, you know, prayer that came with the deck. This is the Modern Mary. Now, there was another version that came out of this after this one, but I have this original version. This is by Redfish Tarot, and it has this little fold out. And, you know, a funny story, I traveled to Arizona on a self-discovery trip, right? I went there on my own, and I reached out to this creator, and she must have thought, like, what on earth? I reached out to the creator, and I was just like, hi, I'm here. And she was like, let's meet up. It was so awesome. So we met up at a coffee shop, and we had a great conversation, and we pulled out our decks and, you know, did a few readings, and it was just so much fun. She was so great, very easygoing. And I just loved having that moment. And so I feel that connection with her and with this deck. It's just awesome. So this is like a collage style deck. I love the keywords, and it's just perfect. It's just perfect. I mean, there's a good number of cards, and just gives you just the right messages. See, like this flower, I don't even recognize what that is, but I could pull out my other deck and kind of look it up and see, you know, why this is included in this card with this keyword thrive. And I like to be able to use decks in conjunction, right? Like decks are great for self-reflection. They're great for reading for different scenarios and situations, but also learning, because I feel like I learn so much when I use my decks. Each one teaches me something so different. This card is so great. I mean, oh, I love this one. So good. Oh, I love this one too. I actually have a little statue just like this. I keep it by my bedside. It's so great. Anyways, I love this deck. This is the Modern Mary by Redfish Tarot. And I follow her on Instagram, but I'm pretty sure I got this on Etsy probably. So yeah. And this last deck is not a deck that I use for reading at all. This deck, I went to Puerto Rico and I took this from my dad because my father, his family, avid card players, this was often the deck that they used. And I saw this the last time that I was there and I was like, can I have it? And he was like, sure. This is a Fournier deck. I just realized after I took it from him. So this has a lot of memories, and you know, I saw this deck growing up my whole life, because every weekend they would get, all the aunts and uncles would get together and play cards and bet and, you know, accuse each other of cheating and get angry and storm out and then come back the next week like nothing and try to redeem themselves. So many memories with this deck. But I love it. Like, I love its simplicity. I love the colors, like the art style. It's just awesome. And now going through it, I realize how everything is set up, like just the way it's supposed to. And see here, medallas de oro en varias exposiciones. So gold medals in various, I guess, like positions. I don't know. My Spanish is a bit iffy sometimes, but so good. Like, look at that. I love it. Look, advertisement. There's the website. And I just periodically pull this deck out and like take a look at it and just feel like, oh, when I'm feeling like I miss my daddy and I wish we could be together. Although when he and I are together, the game of choice is always dominoes, I have to say. We never pull out the cards, but these are just so good. Super, super nostalgic. Always makes me think of him. And I keep this in my collection with the rest of my decks for that reason. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my Oracle deck collection. I'm quite proud. There are not that many, because I did manage to rehome quite a few in the last few weeks, and really just trying to work with all of these and kind of decide which ones I definitely want to keep in my collection before I even think about or considering adding anything new. So that is where we're at, friends. That is my Oracle deck collection as it stands today. Thank you so much if you've made it to the end. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I've gotten quite a few followers, some likes, a few comments, and I have to tell you, I wake up and I look at that and it makes my day. I love interacting. I love building a community, and I look forward to putting out the videos and having this way of connecting with all of you. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you next time.